This week on It Happened to Me, a story of blackmail, corruption and revenge, which saw an innocent man being sent to death row.
When the judge actually gave the verdict and said, you're sentenced to death, everything just turned off on me. I just collapsed.
Hello and welcome to It Happened to Me. Now, many of us have dreamt of starting a new life, maybe by emigrating and beginning all over again. Well, taxi driver Sonny Wilson did just that and left Dover to live in the Philippines. But his dream nearly cost him his life when he fell in love with the wife of a notorious gangster.
Wherefore, accused Albert Ernest Wilson, alias Sonny, alias Cano, is hereby sentenced to death. The accused is hereby
I'd just taken redundancy from the Harbour Board and really hadn't made up my mind what to do when a friend invited me out to the Philippines. So I said yes, we went out there. It was different, it was somewhere I hadn't been before, and when he pushed me to go back again, I decided why not, and went back to have another look. Vicky, she's just a very special person. She's so loyal, so loving. She's what we would call an old-fashioned English woman. She really is. All the old virtues that men love about a woman, she's got them all. She just grew on me and grew on me until we were in love and we got together. I found out that Vicky got a couple of children, and
at that stage Nika must have been about 10 and JR about 12.
We decided that in 1994 we'd buy a lot and we'd put a house on it and make it 2 apartments for the children. As we were building the house, money became tight and Nika became more and more difficult. Teenagers go through periods of life. I didn't expect it to get beyond a lot of hassle while we were building it, and we could resolve it afterwards, so I tended to push it aside. But she started coming home with presents from the father, with money in her pocket, which was more than I'd got in my own, and it just became an impossible situation. I couldn't control her, I couldn't get her to come home at a reasonable hour, anything. I found out something else about the Philippines. Vicky couldn't get a divorce because there's no divorce in the Philippines. And her husband, well, when I went up to talk to him and say hello, he put a gun to my head. To Vicky's husband, Pio Pasco, she was just a possession. She was an old pair of shoes he'd thrown aside but still belonged to him. And he was just so jealous in a strange way. He didn't want her, yet he didn't want me to have her. And he did everything to get money from us, to throw us out of town. His family had got power in the local town. He was a drug dealer. He'd got a couple of other women, 6 other kids. He got himself in with the local police. So it's like his family were the bosses of the area, and we'd gone up against a gang almost.
Pio Pasco's threats were taking their toll on Sonny's paradise life. But having got nowhere with attempts to extort money through violence, Pasco changed tack. He persuaded his daughter Nika to trump up a charge of attempted rape.
Nika came to the house and she said to her mum and her brother that she wasn't a virgin anymore and it was my fault. Needless to say, they were all very, very upset, very angry with me, and started shouting and screaming. JR grabbed a knife and he wanted to actually assault me. So little by little the situation was calmed down, and the neighbours, Vicky, JR, myself, we started asking questions. First off, it was this room, which she couldn't tell us where this room was. It was on the way back from the market, but of course we hadn't been to the market that day, she'd been to school. So it was a question of when, where and how. Next morning, Vicky's mum said, it's all over, it's finished. Don't worry about it, which I couldn't understand. You know, Vicky's sister was there and said, no, we spoke with Nika last night and it's not your problem, it's a family problem. Nika is just saying it because she wants you and her mum parted.
But that wasn't the end. 2 months later, Nika repeated the story to police, who arrested Sonny and Vicky and charged them with attempted rape.
They took us to the police station and they put me into a cage. You can't describe it as anything else but a cage. It was about 4 foot by 4 foot, and there were always 3 people in it. And they handcuffed Vicky to the outside. If you get arrested by the police, you'd expect some sort of explanation, some sort of talking to you. But they weren't giving me anything. Vicky was shouting and arguing with them, and I had seen that Nika and Pio, her father, had been brought up the stairs, but they'd been taken into another room. So, you know, obviously it involved them. Next thing I know, they're now telling me it's a rape charge instead of attempted rape, and there's no bail permitted. Somewhere close to 2 days, they kept me in a 4x4 cage in the police station, which was obviously very hard. But afterwards, they transferred me to a jail, the city jail. It was like a concrete coffin. When Pio Pascoe came into the jail, came upstairs to the cell where I was being held and started shouting and screaming at me.
Inmates in the jail helped me to understand it was just extortion, plain, simple extortion. He wanted $1 million pesos, about £25,000 in English, and he would give me a letter. This letter was legal in the Philippines. It meant that the case would just finish. I pay him, I go out.
But I wouldn't. I wasn't going to pay even 1 centavo because I hadn't done it. He actually came back 4 or 5 times, always demanding money, always threatening. And I'd got my own daughter back home in England, and there's no way, you know, having been accused of saying I wasn't going to prove that I was innocent.
It was quite horrifying, really, and I actually went to go out down the town one day, and there on the foyer was a untold amount of newspapers just splattered on the floor, and on the front page was like, ex-cabbie arrested for this, anything else. It didn't ever occur to me that my dad had done it. I mean, he got custody of me, I lived there, do you know what I mean? Like, all through the teenage years, you know, when the girl was developing, anything else. And I never had none of that problem, so I couldn't understand why someone could suddenly accuse him of doing something. I mean, the way he looked at Nika was his daughter. So in theory, why would he do it to one daughter if he had no intentions whatsoever of doing it to another?
Throughout all of it, I've been talking with the embassy, asking for their help. And they've been saying, don't worry, look, the whole family's supporting you. Tomorrow or the next day, this is going to be all over. Don't worry about it. Just keep having faith in the attorneys, because the evidence, medical, witnesses, all shows that you're innocent. So this isn't going to last too long. I was there fighting for my life. And it just went on like that for 2 years with promising tomorrow it'll be over. It was over on October the 9th, 1998, when the judge actually said, we're sentencing you to death.
Wherefore, accused Albert Ernest Wilson, alias Sunny, alias Cano, is hereby sentenced to death. The accused is hereby...
Well, Sunny had already spent 2 years in prison whilst his case was heard. Now he faced 5 years on death row whilst his appeal was processed. In part 2, Sunny shares the story of the horrors of death row.